All right, so good morning. I just wanted to show you how I'm going to use writing prompts for the first 2 months of the year and how I'm going to give students choice and why I'm going to give students choice over these writing prompts. So let me share my screen real quick. All right, so the purpose of giving students these low-stake writing prompts as warm-ups for the first 2 months is it really allows me to get to know students. So for example, I give out a little inventory sheet where I gather up interests and passions of students and try to learn about them. And that's great. However, when you give students the choice to write on whatever they want, that really reveals to you what their interests are. Okay. So I have uploaded, and I'll share it here, over 100 writing prompts on diverse topics, right? And 80 to 90% of these topics, students aren't going to want to write about. You're just trying to get the 10% that appeal to each student, okay? So maybe one student is interested in anime and K-pop. Another one's more interested in sports. They can choose writing prompts that are going to align with their interests, okay? So the purpose of this one is to get to know students' interests. What students choose tells you what they're interested in, what they like, okay? So my list of writing prompts, which I'll show you, they can be anything about anime, K-pop, soccer, cosmetology, leadership, and you'd be surprised at what students choose, okay? So I wrote right here, one thing that I had is I've had students, maybe it's 2 boys on the football team, right? Maybe you assume each of them like sports. However, when you give them choice to write on the topics that they want to write on, you'll often get something very different. Maybe one will write about sports, but the other one might have a deep interest in anime and mental health. If you never gave the student the choice to choose on what to write about, you would have never learned that, okay? So I know I've been guilty of this. I often assume students like certain things, but when you give them the option to choose, you truly learn what it is they're interested in, like to write about. And what this does is it gives you not only a lot of insight in what they like, but it allows you to bond with students, and it allows you to build on these topics later on when you write more abstractly or on essays and stuff like that. So one example is I had a student who wrote about Tesla stock as being overrated, okay? In my normal conversation with the students in English class, we probably would not have talked about the stock market. However, he wrote about how Tesla stock is overrated. And what that led to is the rest of the year, whenever I'd see the student, I'd ask him, hey, how's your portfolio doing? And he had this in-depth knowledge of the stock market as a 17-year-old or 18. I don't know how old he was actually. He was 17 or 18. Okay. And he had this really cool knowledge on the stock market. And it was something we were able to build on the rest of the year, build rapport, and we were able to do some other writing topics related to that. Okay. So when you give students choice, you learn about their interests, and it gives you leverage later on when you write more analytically and abstractly, okay? Also, the cool thing about giving students interest when they're writing is it allows you to encourage them to pursue their interests. So one thing I have learned is students will be shy about what they're interested in. They don't just come up to you and say, hey, I have a deep interest. I love bass fishing, okay? It's something you discover through their writing. Okay. And as a teacher, you have a lot of influence over encouraging students to do things that they have interest in, because as I see it, students are just developing their interests in high school. Okay. They need encouragement, and you can be part of that. And also the reason why I'll show you these prompts soon. And another reason why I use these prompts is the first few months, I'm trying to focus on the basics of writing mechanics. I'm trying to set the tone that students need to pay attention to their punctuation. They need accurate spelling. I used to not grade for spelling, but the spelling has gotten so bad at times that we have to focus on that. Students have to realize that they can't have their writing just littered they can't have spelling errors just littered throughout their writing. It looks bad. Okay. So we focus on punctuation, spelling, and clarity for these writing prompts. And I also encourage students to experiment with ideas, new words, and of course, new forms of punctuation. So let me show you what these writing prompts look like. Okay. So there's over 100 here. I keep adding to it as I learn more and more interests that students have. If you have any ideas, please message me. I'm trying to create all kinds of prompts to cater to each student. Well, it could be, what makes anime so appealing? Okay. Should cosmetology be an elective? I have some students that they want to get into the beauty business. So this is their chance to demonstrate their knowledge on something related to beauty. And then you can build rapport with them. You can have them teach you certain things about maybe makeup. And it creates a cool learning environment where you learn from them and they teach you stuff and you teach them stuff. Do aliens exist? Some students are obsessed with aliens. They tell me, oh my goodness, aliens are for real. You see the government's hiding it, blah, blah, blah. This gives them a chance to write on that. What makes K-pop so popular? Is Be Real the future of social media? I have students that use Be Real. This is a chance for them. Write about a time that you demonstrated grit. Some students love writing about themselves and they love personal development. What is needed to improve mental health among teens? Some students are very interested in the field of mental health. Which is better, PlayStation or Xbox? So these writing prompts some kids want to write deeply about mental health, right? And other students just want to write about cool cars. Okay. They're all fine. All these topics are fine. It's just we're looking for you to develop your ideas, okay, and to write clearly, use proper punctuation, and allows me to learn what your interests are and build rapport with you, and then use this as leverage later on when we write essays. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What is the greatest video game ever? Some students love debating this stuff. Write about a challenge or conflict you faced. Create a machine of the future. I had a student actually create this. A 6th grader created this. Some students like to envision the future. Should people strive for perfection? Okay. Here's a creative writing prompt. Some students love writing creative stories. Some hate it. If you love writing creative stories, this is your chance to write creative stories. If you don't, write about something else. Write about an ostrich, a tattoo, a helicopter, and a baby. Gotten some very cool stories from that. Write about a random act of kindness. Describe a time you demonstrated leadership. Okay, who's going to win the World Cup? So what I have here is many different kinds of writing prompts. I'll give students this playlist to choose from. I should create a sheet where I have them all written out and students can choose. And there's a video explanation. I typically have students write 150 words or more for each prompt. That's the general amount of words I give, but it can fluctuate. But I think 150 words or more is a great starting point. Is TikTok overrated? So out of all these prompts, students, they're going to be able to find an assortment that cater to their interests, and that will really allow their ideas to shine because they're writing about something they like, and it's pretty cool. So this is what I'm doing for the first few months as warm-ups, once or twice a week, about twice a week. Okay, students get to choose a writing prompt. I typically want 150 words or more. These are low stakes writing prompts. So when it comes to grading, I use very flexible grading. So if a student, for example, is really dabbling with ideas and their ideas are great on a topic, maybe they're writing about the future car, but their punctuation is missing. There's not a lot of punctuation. I will tell them, hey, I really like your ideas. Because of that, I'm giving you full credit. But to get full credit in the future, I need you to add punctuation, because punctuation is going to add clarity to your writing. It's going to make your ideas stand out more. So I use these as low stakes writing prompts to get students writing and to build certain skills. I'm not trying to just catch them doing something incorrectly. I'm trying to build them up so later on, their writing has a structure to it, has a voice to it. They have a certain kind of confidence and rapport with you as a teacher. So then when the tougher writing tasks come later on, like the formal essays that I like to do, then you at least have the foundation for that. So check out the playlist. I'll leave it in the description box. I'll leave it in the comment section as well. Give students choice. That's what I'm going to do for the first few months. Try it out, and I hope that helps.